Good morning and welcome to our second episode here at Tokyo PM. So, one thing I wanted to try to discuss today is why are we making this YouTube series? Specifically, why am I trying to put together a series of videos that will allow you, the audience, and people who attend our monthly product and Tokyo events to have a better understanding of what it is that I do. I'm someone who am very uncomfortable when putting these kind of videos together, as it's still new to me and it's still something that I need to learn. At the same, I think that there's a lot of potential for the things that I have to share, and not just myself, but with the other members of the audience that we're going to have on the show. And we're going to have the opportunity to connect with product leaders here in Tokyo, and they will add their own voice and their own color to the ongoing conversation of what is product management in the city. So let me talk a little bit about what the idea is moving forward and how we're going to interact with other members of the community and allow me to kind of share the work that I do, what I learn, kind of go from there. Now, I was watching YouTube from a YouTuber called Ali Abdal, if I'm pronouncing his name properly, and he's kind of a productivity YouTuber who started working as a doctor, and then from there he started doing YouTube videos, and now he focuses primarily on productivity and things like that. And one of the books that he recommended is called Show Your Work. And Show Your Work is a book by Austin Kleon, if I'm pronouncing that properly. And it's an interesting premise that helped motivate me to start this show. The premise of Show Your Work is not a form of self broadcasting or self promotion, but it's more, you learn from other people, you then take what other people have made and you add to it a little bit, and by then taking that and sharing it, you're adding to the conversation. And when you add to the conversation, then those around you, either those that you learn from, can go, oh, it's cool that you used my work in that way. Or those that then learn from you, they can say, seeing this work, like seeing the work that I have produced, they can then go on and learn something new and then generate works of themselves. And so he goes through the book. He himself, my understanding, is an artist, but he's written a couple of books. I think his more famous one is Steal Like an Artist, which is saying, how to get ideas from other artists. But in this case, what I admire is that actually it's there on the front, Steal Like an Artist. But what I admire in the work that he's saying here is, you want to make sure that you're not self-promoting. You want to make sure that you're not sort of running around and how do I say, like yelling through a mega horn for the sake of it, but instead you're learning something from the people around you. And what you want to try to do is then take what you're learning and communicate that outwards. And by communicating that with outwards, you get to connect with other people who also participate in the creative process of the work that you do. Now, this applies in his case to artists, but it also applies to writers. It applies to sort of anyone who's engaging with a discussion, especially online. When looking at the internet, there's so much information available. There's a wealth of information, and because of that, what happens is, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. It's very easy to go, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to look. And so one of the things that I hope to do is to share with you what I'm reading, what I'm learning, how I'm learning it, and how I'm implementing that, and then share my lessons from that. And so it's a way to sort of consolidate together all the information that's available out there, because otherwise, if you're trying to go on this journey of becoming a product manager or even becoming a good product manager, which I'm still learning to do, you kind of don't know where to start. And so my hope is to stand on the shoulders of product giants and try to distill that down for you in a way that you can learn along with me. His work is incredible, but this also applies not only in a self-driving or entrepreneurial sense, but also in work when you're in the office. I worked at Rakuten for 2 years, and when working at Rakuten, my managers, I had 3 managers in my team, incredible people, and one of them was particularly good at storytelling, and another one was particularly good in terms of like core product management skill. And one thing that they had both taught me was no one sees what you do. And as a product manager, that's not very good, because as a product manager, you are the representative of your team. You're the one who's communicating for your team. And so it becomes a core skill to be able to say, this is the work that we're doing. This is, the efforts that we made in the last week, and to look to over communicate, not to the point where you're creating spam, but over communicate to the point where you're clearly getting your point across, and you're clearly showing this is the work that we're doing. Because if you don't take your stakeholders, your executives, also your other departments outside of the engineering team that you're working very closely with, if you don't bring them along with the journey, instead they go, well, where's the product? Where's the final solution? When is that coming? And they don't see the progress that's being made. They don't see you going along as you're developing what it is that you align to make in the first place. So for me, I found reading this book is motivational for me to start this show. But I also hope it's a skill that I need to learn to share my work, to show where the work comes from, what the inputs are, how I've distilled it, what comes out, and then can I teach that to others? Because I think developing that skill as a product manager would be quite fundamental if I want to then take people within the team and also collaborators of the team with me moving forward, saying, these are the things that we're working on, this is how we're working on it. And it tells a good story. Now, one of my previous managers had told me when he was at a previous company, there were 2 product managers in his team. One was really good, but really quiet. And generally, when he was given a task, he would work within his team. And after working with his team, he would deliver on a good product. But there was another member who very clearly documented what he did, very clearly communicated on a regular basis what he did. And when it comes to company evaluation time, you have a lot more documentation saying, hey, these are the things that I did in this frame of time. So whether it's for your own personal drive or whether it's for the company that you're working for and the team that you're working for, I would recommend read this book and learn to build in public, learn to share what you're doing, learn to document what you're doing. And it's very uncomfortable when you first start, like I'm trying to now. It will feel like, oh, no one would watch this. Is this really worth my time to see? And maybe not. It's. I will admit, I'm still trying to learn how to do this, so I think the quality of these videos will be rather poor. But it's an opportunity for you to work on the skill, and it's an opportunity for you to skill up. And from there, you can take these ideas and this practice, and if you build that into your routine, then you get a lot more exposure for what you do, and it gets a conversation going. And that's kind of the main focus of this. So this book, Share Your Work by Austin Kleon. Share Your Work by Austin Kleon. Highly recommend. And yeah, I learned from this from Ali Abdal. He has a lot of followers. It's quite impressive, the work that he's doing. But he said this is also one of his reasons to put himself out there and then kind of show his motivation. So grab the book and let me know what you think. If that inspires you to share the work that you're doing on a daily basis, or even when we have our meetups, if you come to the meetup and say, hey, I'm working on this and I want to talk about it, let's have a conversation. All right, then thank you so much for joining us for this episode, and I will see you in the next one.